Nice.
Good to go?
All right. On this topic of keeping it real, estate related, I feel like a bad Phil Dunphy while I'm still shopping this name for this segment out.
There's a difference between real estate agent and realtor.
A different somehow.
Yeah, they're different somehow.
Yes, buying and selling at the same time. You guys are both in your third homes. I am as well. Again, the third house you lived in. We're not moguls where we don't just start collecting homes. I'm in my
I guess you are.
I'm in my third home.
I'm collecting these. I had to think about his for a second, but yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't had to sell in order to buy, though.
Ooh,
So I haven't gone through the process. That's not
Sure,
like a
sure. It's a nice subtle flex there, Tommy. Real estate mogul. um, you're the most recent to buy and sell at the same time.
yeah.
Was it stressful?
No, yeah. But it was good because it's a reminder for what we have to, or for what our clients are going through, and it was good in the sense that we had a week between when we closed on the sale and when we were purchasing, and so we did have to do what we tell people to do, which is go find a place to sleep for a week, go find a place to keep your stuff for a week, and it was really hard, and having kind of living out of a trailer that was sitting in the driveway, and there's a lot going on there. So yeah, it's tough.
Kind of alluding to have a backup plan. You know, I'll say I think it's happening more and more now that interest rates have kind of really jacked up affordability, is people needing to sell in order to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Where when interest rates were a lot lower, we found more and more, hey, we actually can purchase without having to sell. So we're going to buy something and then we're going to sell our house. Huge difference between, hey, we need to sell our house and then we're going to buy something. You know, not only in negotiability for your ability to purchase something, but again, I think the stress level goes, it goes hand in hand. If you buy a house without selling and it takes a while to sell your house, there's some stress there. But buying and selling at the same time, let's condense into that. Closing on the same day. A lot of people, well, what's going to happen? You know, I'm supposed to make $150,000 out of 123 Main Street while I go to 456 Banana Street. What am I supposed to do there? They're just going to give me cash. I say, well, it's pretty simple like that. It's like simple. Let's break it down quite simply. Is 9 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna sign on the dotted line for the home you're selling. At 10 o'clock, we're gonna sign on the dotted line on the home you're buying.
So for 1 hour, you're completely homeless.
You're very, very homeless.
Now, what are the odds something happens in between there?
You shut your mouth, Tommy. Let's not even speculate that.
But those are the questions that we get.
Yeah.
We do get those questions, but what I tell people is at that point, if you've gotten to the point where you've sold and you're literally just signing the papers to purchase, outside of some technical mistake that might have come up, which I haven't had happen yet, and we'll say that it would come down to the seller backing out on you. Chances are they've already moved all of their stuff out. They're already on to their next place, wherever they're going. They've already gone through, now post-COVID, they've already gone through their pre-sign more than likely. Mm-hmm. Like, the chances of them backing out is almost zero.
Right. Ideally, you've already done the final walkthrough. You know all their stuff's out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You should know if there's a bigger problem before closing time frame. But, there's been times where, I'll take an example of a new construction home where it was, they said they had everything. And then the builder actually said, you know what? I'm going to renegotiate my payoffs. After we signed on the dotted line of purchasing, and he wouldn't sign the documents because he wanted more money, and he wanted to pay his debtors even less. So that really messed everything up. No. He's no longer in business right now, but that was one example, and it was just like, it's criminal. Is what it is, and it was just awful. And again, there was attorneys involved, and it got really, really messed. But that was a point of that was a human's choice.
Yeah.
To screw somebody over.
Yes.
So that was very, very intentional. But for the most part, 99.9% of the time, buyers are buying, sellers are selling. If emotions get high during this time, that's kind of why we're here for counseling. It's just saying, all right, hey, sometimes that final walkthrough is like, there's stuff in moving trucks, and we might be packing, through the night into the morning. So if you come and do your final walkthrough a day ahead of time, which I suggest, is there still
maybe
might
2
be a
days.
bunch of stuff in the garage, in the kitchen. And again, it's really good to be a good communicator with the other agent, saying, hey, when are they going to have all their stuff out? We close at 11 tomorrow. It's 6 o'clock the night before. I said, oh, they're either the truck is coming or they've got help. Okay, well, what do we do in that situation?
Yeah.
We schedule another final walkthrough right before closing.
Yeah,
Right.
big time.
Yep. No, and it's understandable because like you had mentioned, I just went through this in March when we sold our house. And so, one, I forget how long it takes to actually get all of your stuff out of the house, because every time you think you're close, you open up a closet or something and go, oh no, it's full.
Every time you walk back in, you just start seeing more stuff that you're like, oh yeah, I need to take that out too, and
Right.
it
So
never ends.
you run into that, but also knowing that people need to sleep there for the night, and people have kids, so we slept there and we had beds. Well, I think we only kept our bed. I think our kids did sleep on the ground. A crib, and so we had a lot of that kind of stuff where we were. You just go, oh, yeah, no, we expect you to stay there. Cleaning supplies, all of that stuff. So even when you wake up the next morning and you say, all right, so when we wake up in the morning, all we're going to do is take out this, this, and this. And then, well, we're going to want some food. So let's have some food. Well, then we're going to need some plastic plates and bowls that we can throw. Well, then we have garbage to throw.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
it just keeps adding up. It's amazing how much you need. So it is good, I think, as an agent to go through that occasionally to remind yourself exactly what people go through instead of just saying, why isn't the house clean?
Yeah.
Well, they're living there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ideally, if you're selling and buying on the same day, if you're selling, make sure your stuff is out in a moving truck. Pay the extra for one extra day of a moving truck. Go, make sure it's all done. Your life is going to be way more fun the day of closing if you can go either crash at mom and dad's house or a hotel. I mean, what are hotels, generally speaking, what, $150 a night or something?
Yeah.
Holiday Inn. Go there. Make sure everything's clean. Your day is going to be way less stressful. If you can just plan ahead, say if you're closing on the 30th, make sure all your stuff is done on the 29th.
Where was all that advice for me? I packed up
I like
into
to
a
watch you
horse
squirm.
I packed up into a horse trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of the relatives around town as well.
Yeah.
I think I've still got some of your stuff.
Yeah. I mean, but some people are unwilling to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're just like, well, we can't do that. Well, and then some people are just poor managers of time.
That definitely.
That's
happens.
probably
Yeah.
really what it is. Again, our job is to get you to the closing table. Your job is to get your stuff out of your house.
Yep.
Right. Our job is to make it easy for them. And I feel like every situation looks differently too, whether it's like, hey, you need all of your stuff out and in a moving truck in a way, and then you can close, then you can go put your stuff in. I mean, we've seen people like be allowed to go and put a bunch of junk into the new garage,
Yeah.
like every situation is going to be a little bit different. And, that's where we kind of come in to be able to help communicate that. And,
Yeah.
But
But
it's
if you're-
stressful. There's a lot of moving parts.
But if you're asking the question, how do you do it, which is a question that we get, essentially the response has been, well, leave it up to us because that's what we're supposed to help you with. And kind of what Tyler, you had mentioned it a few minutes ago, is that you find the house you want to buy, you line them both up for the same date, say we want to close on this date. We let title know. Title kind of coordinates a lot of that along with the mortgage company. Everybody works together to coordinate all of that. You as the buyer and seller, you just tell us when. We'll figure it out for that day. But there shouldn't be a whole lot else besides that. You don't have to worry unless you need more money in order to close. Then yeah, you got to show up with more money. But if you're just taking the proceeds from your sale, don't worry about do I have to get the money? Do I have to take out a line of credit? You don't have to do any of that. We just line it up. So it happens, I assume, thousands of times across the country every day. Hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it is, but
There's a lot
happens all
going
the time.
on, and our job is to make sure that they don't know how stressful it is on on our side.
Yeah. Yeah. So many times it comes down to the actual financing of it, buying and selling at the same time. Is can you afford it? And if you can't, if you can't afford to purchase without selling, here's how you do it: is your offer is now contingent on the sale of your house. So that seller said, we like your terms, we're okay with waiting, but we're not going to wait forever. If we get impatient or we get a better offer, we're going to do what's called calling your contingency, and you're going to get a predetermined amount, usually between 3 and 5 business days, to get your house that you're selling under contract per the terms of your agreement.
With no contingencies.
Usually with no contingencies other than financing. So you don't have to close on it. You just have to have a contract saying, yep, we have a real bona fide buyer willing to buy this, and the only stipulation is the financing. That's what you can do to remove a contingency as standard languages. But so yes, it's juggling. It's more stressful because if you've really fallen in love with the house, is you maybe have to sell your house for a little bit less, or be more aggressive, or pay more for the one that you're going to make it really, really enticing for that seller.
Yep.
So.
And how about let's see, it would have been 2022 as the market was cooling off a little bit, but people were still feeling like they needed to make offers non-contingent. I had a client who said, we're going to offer on this house and we can go non-contingent. We don't need to sell our house to close. So we made that offer, got it accepted. I was like, fantastic. When do you want to get your house on the market? They said, as soon as possible. We need that to sell before we purchase. I was like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we got their house on the market and sold in a few days, and we were able to schedule it for the same day. But what they told me is they said, oh, no, we don't need to be contingent. I was like, okay.
Yes.
So
you would like to be, but you
Right.
don't have to be. Folks, just tell the truth. The truth will always prevail on it.
Yeah, that one stressed me out.
Give us all the information so we can deal with it for you.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, that is buying and selling at the same time for this week's little segment of Keeping It Real, estate related.
Yes, I love it.